Okay, welcome to Baisai. We're holding today in Zevachim Daf Pei. We're going to be starting in Daf Ayin Tesam base in the Mishnah. Zog De'elik Mishnah Dam Tmimim B'dam Baalei Mumin. You have blood of Korbanos Tmimim, good Korbanos, good animals that got mixed up with the blood of Baalei Mumin, animals that have a blemish. So what do? They spilled into each other.
No, but it has a bomb. It should be macro. So
it's check that he did a mistake. That's the same question you have with the shchita of chulin. Same question. Happened to be, like, first of all, a lot of the cases and the scenarios in the Mishnah, there's have to be dafka that's lamaisa. But here, let's say they made a mistake. They thought it wasn't balamum, when they realized only afterwards it got mixed up. The din is yishafich la'amo, you spill the blood into the amo, which is the drainage of basic English. Kois bekoisus, if it's not the blood itself, but the cups got mixed up. I have a cup of balamumin, of blood of balamumin. You have a cup of dvimim. So this we saw, similar to what we saw in the previous Mishnayos, that he says, once one of them went to the Mizbeach, so I have the concept called tlio. Tlio mean I could be toilet, I could hang my hat on and say this is the one that was one of the Mizbeach, that was the one that was the Balmum, and then the rest, it's kosher. When it say, even if all of them are carved except one, and he's the last one, you have to throw it, and this seems that Rabbi Lezer comes to argue and says, no, as long as you have one to put on his back, it should be fine. As we'll see in the Gemara, so what we saw before, it doesn't mean one, it means one pair. 2 cups. The Seder, Hanisonim lamato, Shvisarvu banisonim lamal. You have the ones that are supposed to be done in the bottom part of the Mizbeach, which is the carbon oilo. They got mixed up with the ones that are supposed to be on the top of the Mizbeach, which is carbon chatos. So the din is, you put it on the top. What you do is you put everything on top, you start putting on top. And you say, oh, 1 second, I have over here chatos in the wrong place. It's only water. I'll have in mind, I'm not doing l'shem what it needs to be done, I'm doing l'shem mind. Then he'll go back and do in the bottom, and he will, and he does the bottom. Now, what about the bottom of the chatos? Why is the chatos done the bottom? So that we'll see in the Gemara. That's the shirayim. Chatos does have a part that goes in the bottom part of the mizbeach, which is the leftover, which is the shirayim. So I have oil and chatos that got mixed up. Oil is supposed to be done on the bottom. Chatos is supposed to be done on the top. Why am I putting it? As I put it on top, and I say, if it's chato, I'm putting the mixture on top. For the chatos part, great. For the oil part, it's water. I put it on the bottom. The bottom part, for the oil part, that's its place. For the chatos part, that's the kiyum of the shirayim. The choyim no. Yishafich lam. That doesn't work. We'll see. This is the main discussion of the Gemara today's daf. What's the machlokes exactly? Would they disagree? They hold you cannot say that. Just put it on top and now apply for both. But if he did it on the top, too late, so then it's kosher, because then even though you're not supposed to put on top the part of the oilo, but if you did it, now it's kosher for the bottom. This is the vision that you have korbanos that was supposed to give in one time, which is, for example, Rashi brings dam bechor. There's one zrika of the mizbeach, and that got mixed up with the dam of ma'aser, which is one zrika of the mizbeach. Yinostu matan achas, not an issue. Go and put it in one time. Yaitze. Hani motan arba. You have korban chatos. And over here Rashi says motanarbo. It's talking about dam oil with dam shlomi. They both have to be. What's the motanarbo over here? Shnaim shein arba. So you have different korbanos. They have done in different ways. So motanarbo. So you put it on top, and you're fine. You have it's good. because they're fine to do in the same way. But what happens? I have a carbon that's supposed to be given on 4 applications, four sides. Halves, one is supposed to be the only ones, which is Korban Bchor or Meiser. So what should I do? Should I do 4? Should I do 1? So here we have a Machlekes, classic Machlekes. I'll do 4. I do 1. If I do less than what I'm supposed to, so you're over there, so about Tigre, you're not supposed to do less in the Torah. Only I be sure one second, if I do more, I'm doing Baltaisif. So I have Baltiga Baltaisif. Baltaisif only is when it's on its own. The push-up shot, there's a lot of discussion in the Achrayim to understand this sentence. But one simple way to understand it is, Baltaisif means if I'm going and I'm doing something which I'm supposed to do X and I'm doing 2X. That's Baltaisif. Because I'm doing more than the Torah told me. But here I'm not doing more because I want to do more for Bchor and Meiser. I'm doing more because I want to be Yechezkel. So I'm not doing more in order to be Moisif more than what I'm supposed to. I'm doing more because I have a suffix. That's not Baltaisif. Baltaisif is only when I'm taking tefillin, it's supposed to be 4 batim, I'm adding a 5th bais. Baltaisif. But here I'm doing it for a different purpose. So the only Baltaisif is Keshulat, when it's on its own and you're adding for no purpose. But here I have a purpose. What? That's where that's the Machlekes over here. Machlekes of Rabbi Yeshua is what word? Meaning, what Rabbi is really saying is there's no Baltaisif if I have a reason for it. So that's why Baltigra will be worse. So Rabbi Yeshua, no, but the same thing works the opposite. You know when you have Baltigra? When I have purposely reducing a mitzvah. The mitzvah is to do 4 batim and fill, and I do only 3. What are you doing, Baltigra? But here, the reason I'm doing less because I don't want to do too much. Another big difference, says Rabbi Yeshua. He says, every time I have a conflict, what's better? I don't know what to do, so don't do. So if I have to choose, I do something which is less of a ma'aseh than the other one. So that's the machlekes. We'll get back to the Beis Hashem a little later. Says the Gemara. Omar Ablozer. Lo yichshir. This is, we had a very, very similar Gemara earlier. Omar Ablozer lo yichshir abilezer el shnayim avlech echad lo. Talk about the koises. We said that if you put koises in mizbeach, you have what's called pliyo, which means I'm assuming this is the one. He says that's only if you did 2. I mean, now going according to where Rashi learns it, the pshat is from here on you have to do 2 at a time. Why? Because then I have, in addition to the tliya, I have also what's called migoy. What's the migoy? When I have 1 cup, which is problematic, they got mixed up in several cups which are not. So the cup which is problematic is only 1. There's not more than 1. So if I take 2 cups, for sure one of them is okay. No shayla, because I didn't have more than 1. The other one, I'm not so sure. So I'm saying, first of all, I have a tliya to say that the one that went out was already in mizbech. And even here, I have an addition of migoy. Migoy, that one of them is okay. Probably the other one is also okay. So that's what it means that you need to have shtein. That's how the Rashi learns. The Rambam learns differently. Rambam learns that shtein means that he put 2 on the mizbech originally. That's what he means. Not he's taking 2 now. Okay. Yeah, that's a different case. I'm talking about the koises. Yeah, that's what we said. That's what we say shavich lama. Everybody agrees you throw it away. The next case, kois b'koisos, that's the machlekes. So when Meisa of Dimi asked a question, the same thing, the same quote when we had just 2 days ago. It says the next part of the Mishnah, we're going to come to disagree. And they say that even if everything is on the mizbech except 1, then you still can't put on the mizbech. You could put on the mizbech, but you just said according to blows you have to have 2, not 1. You're not talking about 1, talking about 1 pair. Same answer we had before. Says the Gemara, why didn't you have both cases? The case we had before in this case. By the case of a vorim, that's the case we had before. We have limbs that got mixed up. So there, the blood was already put in the mizbeach. So kapara was already done. So the main korban was done. Now I took up with limbs. Say the showing, I'll do tzli, I'll do migo, I'll play around with it. But you're doing the ikar kapara of blood, so maybe not. Meaning there in the case of the Rabbanan say by blood, because they say ikar kapara, I'll be all by varim, the more mekel. That's why I need to have both cases. Very good. Zog the Gemara. Tnanos. Learned over there. This is a Mishnah Maseches Para. Sloichis shenaflu letoicho mayim kolshu. I have it. Sloichis. Sloichis is called a small bowl, a pitcher that has in mechatos. Mechatos is the water that you mix with the paraduma, Efer paraduma, and that has the very, very big meaning of kedusha. That's where you sprinkle, and you have to treat it with the highest level of kedusha. We're talking about, if you remember the Gemara in Chagiga, you have different levels of how much kpeda I have. So you have kpeda for chulin, you have kpeda then for truma, you have kpeda for kachim, you have kpeda for mechatas. That's chamishi b'kodesh. You go down to the biggest extreme. Into that mechatos, water spill into it. Kosher, something a little bit. Lazo imer yazeh shtei hazois. Lazo says, sprinkle twice, and that'll be okay, right? Why sprinkle twice? We'll see in a moment why I have to do sprinkle twice. But I have now the mechatos. Mechatos is a mixture of water. So I have here a mixture of something which is wrong. So what do? Says the blood, just do it twice. Chacham say, pasul. It's over. So now the Gemara explains. Oh, let's hold cup. Bishur Rabbanan Tzavri Yesh Bilo. So stage one, Rabbanan held Yesh Bilo. What's Yesh Bilo? There is a mixture. So Yesh Bilo means that with every drop, I'm having over here part mechatos and part non mechatos. When you do azot, there's a certain amount of water that I need to do in order to do the azot. And I can't join the puzzle to the kosher to make it kosher. I mean, let's say I have roiv kosher, and I have a mute of puzzle. So you say, who cares? I have over here, I have 60% kosher, 40% puzzle, I'm good. No, doesn't mean starve. So what is the problem over here?
Is referring to when if you do a second one, since what did you say there's yesh so there's part mechadas, part regular water.
Yeah.
So and he says that you need a shear, so you don't have the right shear in the first one. But if you say mitzvah, so when you do the second,
and according to Rabbanan, if yesh bilo, so the same proportion you have in the first one could be in the second one. I don't know.
No, but I think when you combine it though, then at least you'll have the right. Let's say if you have 50% and 50% in the second.
If I don't know, I'm not sure. So that's if you look.
Starve means within the zrika itself, you can't combine the puzzle with the kosher.
Yeah, you're probably also right. You can join the second one to the first one. No, the truth is, Momo's right. Meaning, if I'll say, you know what, I did 90% in the first one, 10% in the second one. Let's assume if it works. No, I can't join them together. I need to have each one will be okay. So you may well be like this. If you have bilo, I start with bilo. It's mixed up with kosher and puzzle, and I need to have a certain shear. And now I can't join the two sprinkling. So I don't have enough. I may not have enough. So Rabbanan say it's puzzle. Hello, Rabbi Lazar, my kasar. Rabbi Lazar holds you do twice. What does he hold? Ikasava in bilo, meaning there's no mixture. I don't have a mixture over here, right? So maybe I have fully puzzle. Kimaze shte azor is my having. What does it help me to sprinkle twice? Tilmatarvayu my kamaze. If you assume that when you have liquids that mix together, they don't mix fully well. So it could be that the drop of water that I'm taking is the bad drop. I don't know. The second drop can also be bad. I don't know. So it could be that both sprinklers that I did were all bad. So maybe everything is bad. So what does that tell me to tell you to do twice? Ela kasova yesh bilo. Elamai holds that there is a mixture. If he holds, I don't need a shear. So as long as I have even one small portion of mechatos, I'm good. So every drop and drop of this bucket has in it kosher because yesh bilo. So if so, lama lishte azo is why I need two. Just do one. Ela kasova azo tzich a shear. Ela mayol, I need a certain shear. I don't know if I have the shear. Vika sovim it's starting the azois. If you can't join the azois together, keep moses the azois might have it. What does it help? If I'm going to do two sprinkles, but who said if they don't join together, so it doesn't mean I don't have anything. I don't have enough because it mixed as well. So each one of them has a mixture of kosher and not kosher. I don't have a shear. If you hold, they do join together. Who says enough? Meaning, what does the Blazer say? Do it twice and you solve the problems. Says, well, what does to help me? If you hold ein bila, they both can be wrong. If you hold yesh bila and you need a shear, so if they join together, if you can't join them together, so it could be that each one of them did not have enough. And even if you could join them together, who said I had enough? I don't know what the portion is. So I'm talking right now. I'm doing the sprinkling. You're doing. Our brother says, "Let's do twice." So why should I need to do it twice? Right? Why should I do it twice? If ain't bills will be worse. If ain't bill will be worse. It could be the whole thing is no. If ain't bilo, it could be 100% not mechatos. And ain't bilo. Ain't bilo means not mixed up. So when I think water, I don't know which water it is.
You have to take like 10. Then you might need 10.
Right. The Gemara will get to in a moment, and maybe I know how much mine. Right now, the Gemara says basically I don't know how much got mixed up over here. So I don't know what's wrong and what's right. So says the Gemara, Omar Shlokish, Loilam Yesh Bilo. There is Bilo. You need to have a shear. But, and here the guy over here adds it, they join together. Oh, this is what happened. There was one portion of mine that nitzayef with one portion of mechatos. So when I sprinkle both, I know for sure that I have enough shear over here. Because let's say the shear, because the one brought before, a little bit of the shear. Let's assume the shear is, I don't know, an ounce. So if I have an ounce of mechatos and an ounce of regular water, and I sprinkle 2 ounces, so if the mitzdarif, I know for sure I have kashir. So answer number 1 of the Gemara is, really, you know why you do twice? Because we're talking about a case that twice covers everything. Covers all the water that I have over here. And he holds mitzdarifim, so everything is good. Give up. That's answer number 1. Rabbi Amar lo ilam yesh bilo, he holds the mix. Ve'azor ein tzrich hashir. I don't need shear. So being every time I do an application, I do azor, I do an ounce, I don't need an ounce. I need 1 drop. And yesh bilo, so for sure that's okay. So it's gavaldik, so I need 2. The knoso the kontra rabbanon ki eichad lo mishtar shelei. It's a knas. Rabbanon with kindness, Rabbanon said, really, you should do only 1. You know why you're doing 2? It's to give him on his head. What do you mean? You're not careful for mine to get mixed up with mechatos? You had that thing, you do twice. I really don't need to do twice. 1 is enough. But it's a knas. Ravashi Omar, Rashi says, Ein bilo yazeshte azors. That is our girsa. Funny enough, Rashi and Tosis tell us this girsa is wrong. Usually in the Gemara, the girsa of the Gemara will either follow Rashi or Tosis. Here, our Gemara says a lashon, and Rashi and Tosis both say it's a wrong girsa. If you want to see, let's see. There's a few lines of Rashi. Rashi says, Ravashi Omar, Hagirsa zu mishubeshet b'svarim. This girsa is wrong. Finir b'nai, that girsa. I'll tell you what's the right girsa. Ravashi Omar, Maim kol shehu tnan. Talk about a drop of water. Ve'ein bilo. There's no bilo. Yazesh te azois. What does it mean? So explains Rashi. He agrees with Rava that I don't have a shear. I don't have to give. I can give one drop of mechatos. So lazy. Disagrees with the idea of kras. He can have a spherely ish bilo. If you hold yesh bilo, bechad have a sogili. Once I do, it's mixed up. I have one drop. He holds it doesn't mix up. He can it could be all bad. We're talking about that the amount of puzzle is a drop. So if I do one, maybe here I have the drop of the mine. So I have to do two. But then I know for sure one of them is okay. Similar to what we said before regarding the two places that go on the mizbech. One of them is for sure okay. Right? As look at taste as well on the left side and the bottom. So answer the shear. The okay, so Rashi says kol shudnan ve'ein bil. That's the lotion. That's kol shudnan ve'ein bil. That's Rashi and Tosis. Argue says ein bilo yazish te'azois. It could be that it fits, meaning you're doing two because ein bil. Are you missing the kol shud? Okay.
The question was, why do you need the second? Why do you need the second?
Right. Everything was based on ein bilo.
Because he says ein bilo.
But
it's only because
bullshit.
And it's only because it's only a culture of the.
But the culture is not mentioned in argues, so according to Rashi, you have to add it. Okay, so we have three answers. Why do I do two sprinkles? Answer number one was that we talk about the one got mixed up with one. So therefore, if I do both, I have enough. Answer number two is Xer Bal, I don't really need two. And answer number three is it holds Ein Bila, but the amount that got mixed up was only kosher.
So both the first two answers, it's Yesh Bila.
Yes. Says the Gemara, may see vague, more brings a question. Rabbi Oimer, the Div Rab Lazar, Azo, Koshu, there's. Now, if you remember, this Gemara that we're going to quote right now is the Gemara that we saw 5 days ago. It was a quote. Then we brought it only as an example. I wanted to speak about how much do you need a shear by dam, by Hazo, by the dam. And the Gemara said, no, because it could be you need to have a shear by water, but not by dam. That's what by dam, not by water. So by dam, not by water. So it was like this. Rabbi Yoimel, Divi Rabbi when he says two Hazos, okay, Hazo kol shubateres. Even the smallest amount is good enough. Hazo ain't a shear, right? I don't need a shear. Hazo mechza kosher or mechza pasul. Even a portion of it is kosher, brother is pasul. The din is that pair with base, it goes together. It's okay. Even if you have talroy base, it's okay, right? That's what it says over here regarding. That's what he's bringing. Now it's already a kasha who? Already a kusha to Rish Lakish, because Rish Lakish says Hazo tzrichashir. Rish Lakish explained the Korah Tablazar that I do need to have a certain amount for Hazo, and here it says clearly the Rebbe learns in Rav Lazar ain't tzrichashir. Void without pair with base. Void Tanya, another brisa. Tanya Be'edra says clearly. Now we get to our Mishnah. All this we got to get to our Mishnah. What it says in our Mishnah? Sonim lemalo shnisarvu bani sonim lemato. I have chatos and oilo that got mixed up. Lazoime yiten lemalo. I put it up. V'atachtoinim oluloi. And when I put it up, because I do it for water. If you remember, that's what Rabbi said in the Mishnah. And then I do the bottom. Kevaldik. If you hold ein bilo, this is a question to Ravashi. Ravashi says ein bilo. If you hold ein bilo, imai oluloi. How does it work? Dilma kayoyvel yoinim lamato betachtoinim lamalo. What do you say? Put on top. So part of the chatos is good. Part of the oilo is mine. Put on the bottom. The bottom, it's fine because whatever is a chatos is going to be shiraim. Whatever is oilo is going to be the korban of oilo. And I'm yaitze. Who say you yaitze? If you hold in bilo, maybe you know what the blood that you brought to the top. Maybe that's the oilo. Didn't do anything. Maybe the one you brought at the bottom is the chatos. I know it was never yaitze the mitzvah of the zrika. Says the Gemara. So if you hold in Bila, doesn't start. But Rashi said that blood holds in Bila. So according to Rashi, I can explain our Mishnah. Says the Gemara, Rubo Elyonim. We talk about the majority is Elyonim. What is Elyonim? Chatos. Have more chatos than oil. Let's go like this. You have Elyonim or more. Let's say you have 2 gallons of a korban chatos, and you have 1 gallon of korban oil. Right? I'm putting on top 2 gallons. So oil is for sure not only oil.
You don't even need 2 gallons.
Yeah, you do 1 plus. 1 plus. Once I'm putting more than what the oil is, I know for sure it's not only oil. Because oil, the max amount of oil is 1. I put more on top. So even if every drop of oil went on top, there's still more. If it's not every drop. So that's why I know on top, I did okay. I did okay. There's at least something near chatos because I'm putting more than the oil. I'm putting 2 gallons on top when oil is only 1 gallon. Says the Gemara, Atachtoinim olu loktani. We'll say, what about the bottom? The bottom, you may not do anything. You said the bottom, when you put it at the bottom, you yaitse. How you yaitse for the oil? Maybe the oil, everything was put on top. Says the Gemara, l'shem shirayim. You're right. I'm not yaitse the bottom for oil. I'm yaitse the bottom for the chatos. Chatos I have to put on top 4, and the bottom shirayim. Here, I put on top 2 gallons. Chatos are for sure yaitse because oil is maximum one gallon. Then I put in the bottom, I'm yaitse chatos because even if the whole oil went on top, it's
I'll tell you why you can't use the.
2 gallons doesn't work.
You
Yeah.
may not have shirai.
Yeah. Okay, I hear. 1.5, 1.5. 1.5 and 1.5.
Yeah.
1.5. Even though the one doesn't agree.
You want to make sure there's some.
Yeah.
Chatos for the bottom.
Very good. You're right. Even though the one doesn't say that. But you're saying even if the whole oil went on top, I still have chatos at the bottom. So you're saying I'm yaitse at the bottom. But who said you yaitse oil? Maybe everything you put in the bottom is chatos. So when you're right, I'm not yaitse oil. It's only chatos. So when the Mishnah said, if you hold in below, what the blaz is saying is, I put on top everything I have from oil plus. So even I know that I put chatos on top. And the bottom yaitse at least chatos. Tasha, one brings another similar concept, similar discussion. Nosan lemato v'loy nimach. You put it in the bottom. He did not ask any questions. That's what the Brisa says. Go bring back on top. Meaning, he went, he did bottom. So the guy, they tell him, 1 second, what are you doing? You're doing only bottom. You should first do on top. Go back, do on top. And then you'll do the bottom. And it works. How does it work? Same question. Maybe in below, when I did at the bottom, that was the chatos. When I did at the top, was the oil. Maybe I didn't do anything. How do you solve the problem? Same answer. Hachinami berubo elyoinim. Talk about the same concept. I have more chatos than oil. V'kayoiv l'mala shutachtoinim v'oid. Same answer. He puts on the top everything he has of oil plus. So he has of oil 1 gallon. He's putting up top there 1.5 gallons. So even if the entire oil went on top, he's putting chatos on top. Same about tachtonim onu loktani. How it says the bottom does work for him. Same on the shem shirayim. Same answer. It works for chatos. Does not work for oil.
He did a second time on the bottom.
Oh, so that's what the Rishonim put out. The Shittim Kumetz points out. You have to say that he did another time. The mato. Because shirayim could be only the leftovers. Shirayim can't do first. So he did in the bottom. You say, go do the top. The bottom works. Not the first bottom. First bottom may be nothing. The second bottom will work because even if the whole oil went on top, in the bottom there was shirayim. That's what it means the bottom came. The same answer, but instead of talking about top and then bottom, we're talking bottom, top, and then bottom. Says the Gemara, Toshma. Another raya, another similar malach. Nesarim lemalo v'loy nimlach. He put on top. He didn't ask any questions. So So everybody agrees, go put it in the bottom. Elu ve'elu alaloi. And they both work for him. So the more understands what does it mean elu alaloi? Chatos and oila. If you're holding bilo, who said it works for him? Says in Wachanami Beruba Elyoim, same answer. The majority is the chatos. They put on top more than the techtoinim. So for sure you put on top first of the Elyoim. Saying more of according to you, it's only the chatos that works, not the oila. It says elu ve'elu. Saying more miktani elu ve'elu moedim. Saying more elu moedim. Elu ve'elu ololoi ktani. Meaning, doesn't say that they both agree, they're both ololoi.
First part it says moedim.
And the first part it says elu moedim shiyachzu telemato. They agree, go and put it in the bottom. But because if your blazer agrees that once you put it on top, you should put it in the bottom, and your opponent say you should do it as well. But what it says is elu ktani. Also so no, you're right. When it says that they both work for him, chatos and oilo, that's only according to Rabban the old Yeshbila. Sponsor old Yeshbila, and you have a mixture. So I told you don't put on top because you're putting the wrong. I don't say the reason why Rabban disagree to put it on top because Rabban hold you don't say I look at it as if it's water. So if I take blood, which is oilo, and I put it on top, you're over Yisr. So don't put it on top. Hi, yesh bila, I'm going to put chatas as well. That's good, but you're putting oil as well. Also, you're not going to put oil on top. So therefore, don't do it. But if you did it, once I already did it, everybody agrees put it in the bottom. Because even Rabbanan will agree that chatas could be in the bottom for shirai. So the bottom worked for both. So you should put it in the bottom. According to who? According to Rabbanan. Because according to Rabbanan, once I did b'diavad on top, so I did chatas on top because yesh bila. I did the bottom, I did oilo. I'm not to both. Don't do it lechatchila because you're not allowed to put water on top. But with the other, you can do it. Says the Gemara Gavad, so says the Gemara, that's what the Rabbanan all day levei lo. But according to Abelazar, you're right. Oilo. Because oilo, I said you have more chatos than oilo. I put on top the shear of oilo plus, so I know on top you did chatos, but the bottom ain't bila, could be what you're putting the bottom is only you're putting only in the bottom, you're putting in the bottom only chatos. I don't have anything for oilo. So everything more says, same answer. Basically, we have three rayas over here, and we came with the same answer. If you hold in bila according to Abelazar, why are you so sure that things work? So I think more the answer is because he put on top more than the portion of oil. So then I know for sure chatos was done on top. What about the bottom? Bottom I assume for chatos, not for oil. That's the answer to all three. And now the Gemara now is going to bring two more rayas, but this will leave for tomorrow's daf because it gets a little more. First, it goes to the next daf and it gets a little more. We're changing then the havon of the Gemara. So let's sleep on this first part of the way the Gemara understood it, and we'll take this from here, Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow night.